Some more Philadelphia Eagles draft talk coming your way on today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, as ESPN, like many of us, big fans of what Howie Roseman and this team did during the 2024 NFL Draft. And we already went through earlier this week Mel Kiper's draft grade for Philadelphia. He gave Howie Roseman, the scouting department, this front office, an A grade. And that video, I thought, provided some really good insight from what other people nationally thought of what the Eagles were able to accomplish. And we'll take a look back at what Keiper had to say about what the Birds did on all 3 days of the draft. Day 1, day 2, here's what Keiper had to say. Roseman landed both of my top-rated corners in DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, though DeJean has the versatility to play safety too. As I wrote Friday night, the Eagles crushed day 2, also getting my favorite outside linebacker in the class in Jalix Hunt. All 3 will help a defense that ranked 30th in points allowed per game at 25.2. And that's secondary. The defense as a whole, a massive reason why Philadelphia completely collapsed and shit the bed, to put it lightly and to put it honestly, at the end of last year. And with Darius being 33, James Bradberry being a cook 31, Eli Ricks, Keely Ringo being unknown commodities, and factoring in that the modern-day NFL landscape, teams are prioritizing offense over defense. Another example behind that, 15 consecutive players going off the board to start the draft. That is a record set this year. You needed to get better at the cornerback position. So not only do you upgrade with one player in Quinyon Mitchell, my favorite corner in this draft class, who I had the Eagles trading up for potentially, and who I had as my dream draft target for Philadelphia. 4.3 speed, length, physicality, ball skills, swagger, confidence, good character. I also had DeJean as a highly rated player on my board, and I thought that he was worthy of being a first-round pick. And you get him at 40th overall. So much of the draft comes down to value. Value. And I thought the Eagles were able to, in the first 2 rounds, get excellent value and, in turn, excellent and impactful players. And it's about damn time that Philadelphia drafted a corner for the first time in the first round since Lito Shepherd in 2002. Ironically enough, back in 2002, that year, the Eagles went DB with the first 3 picks that year as well. More from Keiper on the Eagles draft. The fun did not stop there for Roseman as he made a whopping 8 trades over the weekend, the most of any team since 1990. Among those deals, we're collecting 2025 3rd, 4th, 5th round selections, one of each, setting up Philadelphia for success in next year's draft. As for the day 3 picks he actually used, running back Will Shipley, an interesting one, put up 1,200 all-purpose yards in each of the past 3 seasons. Could he carve out a spot as a third down back? And then linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr. at 155 of value in my rankings. I have him at number 108 overall. And of course, his dad, Eagles legend. I'm also intrigued by 6'6" wideout Johnny Wilson. Dropped too many passes, but that size can't be taught. Lastly, because of everything Roseman acquired in next year's draft and because of the talent he accumulated this weekend, I feel great about making this class an A. And look, I know that I've said this a couple of times, right? But all good businesses plan ahead. That's what the Eagles did here. They planned ahead to help this roster in 2024. They drafted players who could help them in 2024 and beyond, but also they planned for the 2025 draft, and this is kind of genius too. What if the NFL comes down on Philadelphia with some penalties on the Saquon Barkley tampering situation? Philadelphia is now stacked up all of this draft capital, where if the NFL does take picks away, the Eagles are still in a good spot to add premier players next year, also with a lot of cap space. Howie Roseman's experience on the job, Jeffrey Lurie allowing him to own the reins and have a bunch of leeway to be aggressive, to invest, to spend money, and to build this football team up is what makes being an Eagles fan such a great experience. You have the Dallas Cowboys, who have signed 3 external free agents this offseason. Eric Kendricks, cooked. Royce Freeman, might not make the roster. Ezekiel Elliott, cooked. They're secretly rebuilding. Whereas Philadelphia, they have a bad ending to the year, and they're doing everything that they can to get back on track and to become a Super Bowl contender. Go Birds. Jeffrey, Larry, Howie, Roseman, I love you. Now, if you think the Eagles aced this NFL draft, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. I like the value. I like the players. I like the strategy. Moving up when you need to. Moving back when you need to. Compiling picks for next year. It was all very brilliant, in my opinion. Now, ESPN also thought the Eagles got 2 steals. Earlier this week, we broke down the Mel Keiper draft grades on a segment here on the show. But now let's get to what Field Yates had to say on top of what Mel Keiper Jr. had to say. Field Yates on Quinyon Mitchell. Mitchell had a dominant college career at Toledo that included 39 pass breakups over his last 2 years, and he followed it up with stellar showings at the Senior Bowl and the Combine. He was on the short list of the cleanest prospects in this class, and he filled Philadelphia's biggest need. Darius, James Bradberry, both over 30. General Manager Howie Roseman able to land my cornerback 1 way down at number 22 without trading up, and that's been my take all along. You got the best corner who fell into your lap with the 22nd overall pick and a player who has all of these great athletic traits but is a good cultural fit for what the Eagles want for the standard of their organization. And some people have clapped back and said, well, Chase, Quinyon Mitchell played at Toledo. He played at Toledo, but when they did play good competition, he held up well. The numbers at Toledo were really good. The athleticism and testing numbers also very good. And when he went to the Senior Bowl, he's locking down players like Ricky Pearsall. He's locking down some of these upper echelon wide receivers. So that goes to show you how he plays against stiff competition. And when I scout Quinyon Mitchell, the size, speed, component, I like it. 6 foot, $195, 4'3", 340. Eagles haven't had a corner this gifted in such a long time. He's a fluid and smooth athlete, very composed when I watch him. You can tell that he was developed and coached up very well throughout his upbringing. He's balanced, has route recognition. When the ball flies, he flies in the air trying to track it down. Smart player. No penalties in 2023. Now, Field Yates had 39 pass breakups over the last 2 years. According to our scouting notes, he had 44 pass breakups the last 2 years. Even better, he asked his coaches at Toledo to coach him hard. Now, as for the weaknesses and the concerns, the play strength, just okay. I actually think he's a little bit more physical than what people give him credit for. Played off man, off zone, did play in the MAC, but he passed with flying colors in my evaluation of him. If you want a Quinyon Mitchell jersey, you can find them right now at chatsports.com/Quinyon. Plenty of different sizes available. And also, if you use that link and you want a different Eagles jersey, it's going to take you to a page where you can find some more Eagles jerseys. And then the Cooper DeJean shirts, they're going off the shelves like crazy, man. We're sending those out. Chatsports.com/DeJean. You can get those. Shout out to Romeo Talon, big supporter of the program. He sent us in a bunch of super chats, so we sent him a shirt. Let me throw this out there. If there's anybody out there that sends in a $100 super thanks right now, you hit that heart icon with the $sign through it, I'll send you one of these Cooper DeJean shirts. No joke. You just have to let us know where to send it to and get in touch with me. Chatsports.com/DeJean. Available in Kelly Green and black. Speaking of Cooper DeJean, it's just so perfect for Philadelphia. And he was asked by the team website, some people are calling you DeJean, right? He's like, yeah, now I get it. Field Yates on him. I'm enough of a fan of DeJean that if he had gone number 22 to the Eagles, he would have made my list of favorite first-round picks. But at number 40, steal. Eagles' need for speed this offseason has now been met with the additions of Mitchell and DeJean, the latter of whom offers positional versatility to boot. DeJean is a springy, confident, man-to-man coverage player with elite ball skills. He picked off 7 passes in college. Quinyon Mitchell, 4'3", 40 guy. Cooper DeJean, 4'4", 40 guy. Both have a knack for making plays on the football, and I can't wait to see them on this defense with Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator, maximizing these players and putting them in a position to succeed. It's just been a long time since we've had players of this ilk in the secondary for Philadelphia who are drafted and homegrown. The strengths for DeJean: he's a freak athlete, can play a variety of techniques. He anticipates very, very well, and he credits that with playing quarterback in high school. So when you play quarterback, you, of course, have to diagnose the defense, and you have to have the anticipation and reading the defense and those types of instincts and that innate feel for the game. So Cooper DeJean has that internally and instinctually because he played quarterback, and that helps him thrive as a defensive back. And those 7 touchdowns that Field Yates mentioned, he returned 3 of them for touchdowns. And I'm telling you right now, I went back and, of course, watched more film on Cooper DeJean. I watched some of his punt returns. The giddy-up that he has. Britton Covey does not have that horsepower. So if DeJean is back there as a punt returner or the kick returner in the new rules, look out. He's versatile like a Trent McDuffie, I've thrown out a couple comps. Trent McDuffie, Tyrann Mathieu, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Like, those are the types of players that DeJean kind of reminds me of, where, yeah, they might be tweeners, right? But you can use them anywhere on the football field. Corner blitz, hybrid linebacker, slot, outside, man coverage, zone coverage. I just love that type of versatility. And then, like I said, the special teams value as a returner. The negatives here, he's coming off that fractured fibula. He did say during draft weekend after he got taken that if he had to play a game today, he'd be ready to go. Sometimes gives up initial separation, sometimes likes to play off because he can struggle right from the jump of the snap, which is why I think maybe he plays safety. And yeah, is he a corner? Is he a safety? He can get handsy in coverage. Another thing about Quinyon Mitchell, no penalties in 2023. So chef's kiss here. Howie Roseman adding value, premier players, but then adding picks for next year right in the chamber for the Eagles to come out firing next offseason as well. Be sure to give me a follow on X at Chase_Senior. Give me a follow on Instagram at Chase_Senior. Same platform here, or same handle, I should say, on both platforms. And don't forget to subscribe because we're giving you informative, insightful, thought-provoking, and entertaining Eagles coverage every day, year-round.